last one for the fiscal year, or we have another one?
We will have a special meeting on September 18th for you to
Okay.
approve the budget
budget,
ahead of the
okay.
city budget.
So this is officially, well, this could almost be our last meeting before we get into next fiscal year, 24-25. Madam, we have a couple of items. We're gonna call the roll from Madam Clerk and, from the Secretary, I'm sorry, and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll go into consent agenda. Madam Secretary,
Thank you. It's 5:36 p.m. Chairman Desilme,
here?
Vice Chair Estimate Irving.
Present.
Board Member Galvin, Board Member Timothy, Board Member Charles.
Present.
Chairman,
Now-
you have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'm sorry. Yes, Madam Secretary, it's an agenda.
Okay. We have the Pledge of Allegiance. Reading in the first resolution. A resolution of the Chair and Board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the Second Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement between NMCRA and TRNM Holding LLC, approving the Second Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement between the NMCRA and TRN.
Wait,
Holding.
Madam. Wait, that was consent first, right? You got to do consent first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Consent agenda. Unless a member of the CRA Board wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tab A constitutes the consent agenda. This item is self-explanatory and is not expected to require additional review or discussion. This item will be recorded as individually numbered, adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tab A through A adopted. Approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
Yes, so move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Chairman Desilme and seconded by Board Member Charles. All in motion?
Aye.
All in favor, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0.
3-0.
5-3.
3-0.
3-0.
Board Member Galvin arrived at 5:37 for the record.
Okay, thank you so much. Item for review in action, agenda item number 1, Madam Manager.
Madam Executive Director right now.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No problem. Yes.
Yes. No, we
Oh.
did not finish. So you want me to- Okay. A resolution of the Chair and Board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment, oh my goodness, my English. Okay, Redevelopment Agency approving the Second Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement between the NMCRA and TRNM Holdings LLC, approving the Second Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement between the NMCRA and TRNM Holdings LLC, authorizing the Executive Director to execute the Second Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement and the Second Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement, authorizing the Executive Director to take all actions necessary to implement the terms of the Second Amendment to Infrastructure Grant Agreement as Second Amendment to Tax Increment Recapture Incentive Agreement and providing an effective date.
Amen. Thank you so much, Madam Executive Director.
Good afternoon. The grantee is requesting that the NMCRA Board authorize a Second Amendment to both its infrastructure grant and tax increment recapture incentive agreements to extend the deadline until June 30th, 2026 for the completion of the conditions precedent as well as the funding term. The NMCRA Board approved the agreements with the grantee on June 22nd, 2021 per Resolution 2021-018 for the development of the multifamily residential rehabilitation project known as Allure North Miami. The award for infrastructure agreement was not to exceed $15,204,238 with no more than $9.664513 to be spent for sewer and stormwater systems, electrical, including underground utilities, etc. And no more than $5.539725 million to be spent for permit and impact fees. The award of the tax increment recapture incentive agreement was for a 50% rebate of the projected city ad valorem tax revenues not to exceed $5,437,121. The agreements require certain financial obligations, which are the execution and delivery of the TIF agreement, approval without any remaining time left on their appeal periods by the City Council of the grantee site plan by December 31st, 2022, issuance of all governmental authorities of development approvals by December 31, 2023, and the grantee obtaining equity or debt or a combination thereof in an amount sufficient to complete the project, and evidencing that such debt has occurred. The grantee received its first extension to these agreements on December 12, 2023, and is currently seeking a second extension.
Thank you so very much. That was a lot for,
It was.
yeah, for people watching us, layman term language, there's a simple way I know you could just summarize it, what we're doing.
Sure. And the simple way is that right now, in order for the project to begin, there are 4 conditions that the grantee has to show. 3 of them are complete, 1 is outstanding. They have to obtain their financing. In order to, they're asking for more time in order for them to show that they have their financing in place, which we are amenable to granting. The agreements as drafted, we did come to a slight change with them. As drafted, it has the payment schedule beginning in 25-26. If the grantee is able to secure their funding before the extension expires, of course, we're more than happy to pay out their permit fees. And then the remaining 2 disbursements will happen across 2 fiscal years.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that new today?
Yes.
It was the understanding, but as drafted, it didn't really capture the spirit. What we're seeing now, I think all parties agreed, and that's what we
Yes.
wanted. And when we drafted it, we didn't realize it didn't really reflect what we were.
Yeah, they basically said the
Discussing.
same thing in
Right.
summary of what was happening, but it was attorney's
Right.
language.
Yeah,
Now
no,
it's
because
understood.
my ear, I apologize, Mr. Chairman, that my ear, that was all new to what I thought I had read.
So to be clear, because the extension was till June 2026, it made sense that the first disbursement would happen after the expiration of the extension. However, the grantee brought up the point, what if we're able to secure funding before this expires? What would happen then? And we're like, well, of course, you'd be able to go ahead and get your permit fees as we're obligated to do, but the agreement didn't reflect that. There was no harm, no foul, just the way that we were
Right.
proceeding based on the timelines that were in the agreement. It was just following the logical course of the timeline, not anticipating getting the funding prior to the expiration of the,
So are staff and the applicant on the same page? right
yes,
now?
everyone's on the same page right now.
Yes, so
From my
just
understanding.
from a legal, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, from a legal standpoint then, what's in the package is going to be revised slightly to reflect this change that has just been discussed. And we've also agreed to delete, at the request of the grantee, the second whereas clause in each of the second amendments at their request. From a legal standpoint, I don't have a problem with doing that either. So staff, the executive director, legal, and the applicant are all on the same page at this
Is
point
there attorney?
as to the
attorney's
terms and
here? Okay.
conditions. Their attorney is here as well, and she's waving her hand, I believe, that
Yeah, we
she's
got,
in-
yes.
in accordance with what we've just presented to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. And then we have the 2 more grant application. Was that all into one?
Yes,
Oh, okay, so we only have 1 item then?
correct. We have a discussion item, which is our
Yes.
budget workshop, so that you're familiar with what you'll be hopefully approving on September 18th.
Got it. Okay, awesome. Well, I move to approve.
Second.
Yes, I have a quick question. So, based on everything that's been said, so we are giving an extension tonight until June 2026.
If not,
That is correct, in order for them to secure their financing to move forward.
We'll move forward, and everything that has been read has been, and we are all on the same page
That is correct.
with this. And okay, so yeah.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor made by Board Member Galvin, seconded by Chairman Desolme. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0, and for the record, I have Board Member Timothy arriving at 5:42.
Thank you so much. Discussion items, budget workshop, Madam Executive Director?
I believe we should have a presentation coming up for you on the screen. Here we go.
Yeah, the resolution is fine.
I needed to take something. Cass, you holding on to the mic? What's going on?
Oh, okay, thank you. But it's not
We
showing
have
on the
that.
screen. It didn't change on the screen that they're seeing.
Oh, okay, I see. You have a pen?
It changes on the laptop, but not the screen they see.
Well, thank you for telling me in advance. It does look good.
In the interest of time, I'm going to begin. You do have the packets in front of you, and as soon as the screen is able to catch up, we will, you'll be able to see it on the screen in front of you. However, fiscal year 2024 was a very pivotal year for the North Miami CRA. This was the year that the agency was able to secure $52.24 million in debt financing to advance its mission and execute its redevelopment plan. Additionally, the agency received an A rating from S&P Global, making it among the top tier of considerations by bond purchasers. True to the mission, the NMCRA was able to complete funding 24 residential projects totaling $553,480 and currently has a total of $625,000 encumbered to complete 22 more projects. It also completed 10 sprinkler projects for a total of $95,830. Additionally, the agency funded 7 small businesses in an amount of $475,000 through its commercial grant program, while also completing funding 2 large-scale developments, the Gardens Residence and Griffin Park Estates, which now adds a combined 408 units of housing to the NMCRA's boundaries. 44 of those units are affordable. The NMCRA also embarked on several capital projects, including the installation of 2 gateway signs, the rehabilitation of the I-95 sign, funded library tot lot improvements, and began the Liberty Park renovation project. Furthermore, the design phase for Pioneer Boulevard is almost complete. Among other accomplishments includes the funding of Flock as a community policing innovation. The agency continued funding MOCA's Arts on the Plaza and education programs and maintained support for recurring programs like the Women's Empowerment Luncheon, Government Week, and Teach to Fish Business Summit. Given West Dixie Highway status as a priority corridor, the agency began conducting a streetscape analysis for this area. Additionally, it funded 7 businesses through the West Dixie Small Business Grant Tech Program. Northwest 7th Avenue is another priority corridor within the NMCRA, and this was its first year with a dedicated source of funding for the redevelopment of the corridor. As such, the agency began several strategic long-term planning initiatives while also addressing some of the immediate needs of the corridor's business community. Included in the strategic planning, the NMCRA engaged SRS to develop corridor design guidelines and FIU to develop a redevelopment strategy for the corridor. Staff also worked with retail strategies to create an action plan to attract national retailers to the corridor and attended the ICSC to begin developing those relationships. In an effort to meet the current needs of the Northwest 7th Avenue businesses, it also launched the Biz Boost grant program, which funded 25 businesses.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, chairman. Now I'm just going to go over the numbers for the proposed amended budget for 23-24 and the year to date. One of the main changes for the proposed amended budget is the loan that we secured this year, the $52,236,769. As you can see on the slide, and that is the main change for the proposed. For the year-to-date, we have spent over 18 million compared to the 78 million we had in total revenues, which gives us the carryover that we're about to go over. The carryover is a total of $60,288,301. And one of the reasons why we have such a high carryover is because of the loan, the redevelopment bond of $51,122,248, which the only thing we paid this year in the loan is the bond issuance of $365, I believe, which we'll go over. For this fiscal year, as you can see in the slide, there is a difference between the east and the west and the city and the county. For this fiscal year, the revenue for the taxable value for the east side is $222,222, which equates to $14,124,138. For the county increment revenue, it's $8,759,146, which gives us a total of revenues for the upcoming fiscal year $22,883,284. For the total revenues, as you will be able to see on the slide, you have the city tax increment revenue for $14 million, the county tax increment revenue for $8 million, the carryover from the prior year from the 23-24, $60,288,301. The interest earning from the accounts, $200,000, and the miscellaneous revenues, $9,120.
Excuse me, what is the miscellaneous revenue?
As of right now, we are sharing our occupancy with State Rep, and they share our expenses when it comes to the cleaning, the utilities. For the proposed expenditures for 24-25, we have the admin, and you could see side by side for fiscal year 23-24, 24-25. The accounting, $20,000 remains the same. For the local travel, the advertising and notices, everything remains the same except for the county admin fee and the other admin expense, which is the city, the shared services that we have with the city. The counting is 1.5% of the amount that we receive from the county, and the total amount is $131,387. For the operating expenditures, the total is $18 million compared to last year, which was $11 million. And the reason is because of the debt service we have this year. It went from, this year was $631,000, and this upcoming year is going to be $4,074,625.
I see it repeating twice.
No, it's a
Oh,
reserve.
it's a reserve, okay.
Yes. The reserve we are going to carry over until
Life of the-
yes,
Of the loan, right?
yes.
I thought it was $5 million, that's why it was confusing.
No, it's $4,078,875.
Question while we're on that. I saw the employee salary and fringes increase $200,000. Is it cost of living or is it new?
We did increase our staff this year,
Okay.
so to also increase their COLAs and merits and things of that nature.
Got it. The other one, the big one, is the professional services from 362 to 400,000.
I'm sorry. The 362 and the 400,000 that was the difference between last year. It's mainly because of the increase on the work that we're receiving from the economic development. Last year, we were supposed to pay I would say the service for the debt out of the professional services, and this year we're not. but we did pay it from, it was more last year.
More than what was budgeted.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And I know that I'm sorry, I know that we also discussed like, in previous, I know we use Hipstar Rockstar, and because, you know, we use that same company for other things, were they upped as well?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I have a question on, through the chair, I have
Go
a
ahead.
question on the trolley.
Yes. So we have an interlocal agreement with the city that gives us our plan of how we're paying. So the fiscal years are already laid out within that agreement, and so the numbers that you see are already predetermined.
Okay, and these, is it the trolley or the freebie?
The trolleys,
The trolleys?
yes.
Okay.
Your freebie comes out of the city?
The freebie.
The freebies, so we only did a one-time,
One time? Okay.
for a freebie, and now that's completely on the city side.
Okay.
And now quickly to the chair on the employee salary.
Yes.
The 200,000. How many people we added from that?
So we increased our staff from 5 to 7. We do have a professional staff. We do have to also include the merits and the COLAs with
And
that.
Would that be 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Quick question, I don't know
Yes.
if you're on that page. On the, it's not numbered, the FY 24-25 proposed expenditure continue, I guess letter D?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so from the loan that we received, the 17 million for Rocks Parks, the 5 million, and then, so the 25 million, is that the balance of what we have to spend?
That is correct.
Yes, eventually we'll get there, yeah.
And
then we'll go
I
over
just
that.
want to prepare the board that today is the last opportunity for us to get direction that is critical for us to be able to complete our numbers for September 18th. If we do not have that direction, our budget most likely will come back from the county, so we're asking, begging for that direction today.
Do we have the list of projects?
So and once we get there, we'll go in more details. You don't actually have to name a project tonight. We can just get into more details. It's just, you can say a mixed-use development for X amount of dollars without having to name the
Oh,
project,
okay.
this activity.
But then you already allocate that? I thought you showed me something where it was allocated.
We've been sharing with every board member what the projects may be so that you would feel comfortable with them
What you're
telling us.
proposing.
Yeah,
Correct,
so you can
exactly.
propose- Okay, that's fine. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, yes, sir.
As I leave you with my last hearing, there was
You
only
got one more?
there was only one thing I'm hoping that's in here, and that is money for the African Art Basel event in December.
Yes, it is included in a different section, yes.
Yeah, with that
Okay.
note, you want to
Well,
announce,
can
we
we
see
get-
we have a special guest since you on that route to Africa.
Well, Mayor Lowe from the city of Banjul in the
Yes.
Gambia is here with us this evening. Mayor?
And we'll, Madam Mayor, we'll be with you this afternoon during our council meeting. This is our CRA meeting, but welcome.
Beautiful to see you again.
Very nice seeing you. I still have one thing in mind, jollof rice. We'll talk about that later.
Thank you
So
so
that
very
was
much.
my only thing that I'm
Oh,
hoping, and I
yes.
congratulate my fellow CRA board members on putting together a great budget that will serve the CRA and the city going forward.
Amen. Awesome. Okay, Cass, let's finish up so that we could go get
Sure.
ready.
Oh,
We have a
where were
party.
we?
The Hispanic Heritage Month reception.
Okay,
Wait.
to
So
go
we
back,
didn't go through
let's
the,
go on this one.
the proposed,
Proposed expenditures,
yes,
capital projects.
yes.
Go, keep going back up.
okay,
Go.
right here.
Yes. And for the proposed expenditures for capital projects, we have commercial incentive programs, 900,000. This is the second year in a row that we are below $1 million. In order to satisfy all the projects that we have in the pipeline, all the business owners that we have been meeting with, we would need at least 1.5 million. And this year, in order to have a balanced budget, we can only have it at 900,000. And
So
yeah,
we're missing how many?
about
600.
600,000.
So we can't find it in anywhere else? Let's
We,
go through.
we will go after
Let's
one.
go through, we're going through.
Oh, we haven't even hit the housing initiatives, which is the plan is to do 25 properties a year. With 510,000, we can only do 16 properties a year. And a lot of property owners have been going out of pocket. Last year, we increased the budget from 20,000 to 30,000. And when you look at a roof costing around 22,000, 23,000, they can't even afford rent or impact windows and doors. We were hoping to increase that line item to 750,000, which would allow us to do 25 properties.
So this is, now it's at 726?
And now it's at
510?
10.
Oh, 510.
510. And can we find that money?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to if we need it.
Because this is critical
It is
item in here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And every time,
Which item is
every,
this, I'm sorry?
This is the,
Housing
the
Housing,
initiative.
housing
and-
initiatives, yeah.
And commercial and,
That's like
commercial
1%
grant.
of our, but 10% of our budget?
yeah, oh, no,
other than that-
for this project, it's only like less than 10%. And
Yes.
I have to mention every year, every time, we are not balanced. These are the programs that usually suffer whenever
But
we
those
don't
are
have
the
money.
programs that actually says we're doing
Benefit the
something for
residents.
Well,
the
yeah,
residents.
these
So
programs are the
we're
backbone
gonna
of
have to just
what we
look
do.
elsewhere and fund them properly because we will get a lot of pushback.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you need? So right now, this is balanced.
Right now, yes, we are balanced, but
So, Vice Mayor, it's up to us to see if we want to fund these programs. So if we want to fund these programs, we need how much money?
We don't have the Excel sheet?
That's what I'm trying to look at. So the
Close to
900
$1 million.
No,
Yes,
Well,
600,000 for the
600,
commercial, yeah, so close to $1
and you
million.
need 240, but 840,000 we
So-
would need.
840?
Question, when we start allocating funding through the loan, wouldn't that free up your general?
Yeah.
Budget.
Well, now it depends because for the carryover, we do have 5.5 million that we're carrying over for Allure that we will be, hopefully, we will be able to use this year or the following year if we are able to
Oh,
include
that's
that.
what we just
Because the
passed.
thing is,
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
Alert was in this budget that we're closing that we didn't use. How much was that, 3 million? So we had $3.8 million
Yeah.
of funding that we didn't use. At that time, couldn't the CRA just make an amendment to the budget and maybe put it towards that program?
Of
So you're
course.
not carrying it over?
Yeah,
Yes.
That would be, and that would be
Yeah.
half of that.
Yes.
No, that's all of it, 'cause-
No, they said they need 1.5 and
but
it's
it's
3 million.
3.8.
Is it?
It's
We
3.8
have 3.8
carryover.
for Allure
So-
and we need
That's
1.5
what I'm saying.
million.
They need-
And it's,
It's
Oh,
about
half
half of it,
yeah,
yeah.
Right,
and
which is
hold-
good.
one more thing I would like.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is,
No, we messing with you.
it's a balance. It's credit and debit. If we take from one
Somewhere you
column,
gotta
we need
put
to
it
add it somewhere else.
Mhm.
If we take it from the carryover for Allure, if they do submit this year, between October and of this year and September of next year, we need to have the money available.
And it'll become from the loan.
If it comes from the loan, then we would increase that, we would include that 5.5 for Allure from the loan. And if they do have it available, if they do submit for a reimbursement between this fiscal year, we would have it available. If not, then we can go back and release the funds from the loan and include it in the operating
I
budget.
think
That
I think what she
works.
said, that makes sense.
So, and I spoke with a developer at length, Mr. Tate, and kind of explained like, hey, what happened with this year? Because we can't just have $3.8 million sitting in the budget and you have 100 houses that are waiting for repairs that we could have technically amended the budget and said, hey, let's give more money to this area in terms of commercial grants and housing repairs. Because we know that those are two areas that are in grave need in the city. So, and he explained like, I'm sorry, I'll make sure that he's more communicative this year and making sure that he keeps us on loop. I know he's waiting to see what happens with interest rates and so forth, so we'll be watching as well. So if they don't go down, we know, hey, he's not using this money, and we know that we have now additional funds to utilize. So I think what we need to do is be proactive in that sense and be mindful, like,
And
hey,
communicate.
and communicate, so that we're all are aware of, hey, this is money not being spent. Because if you tell us we had $3.8 million, you would have had 5 ideas of what to spend
What to spend.
$3.8 million on this year.
So
I have, I have one
And I
ready to
think,
roll.
Councilwoman, Commissioner, you correct, in terms of, Jimmy, if we communicate, we will know what's happening. I mean, that, if he's out there talking to the right folks and we getting it, I don't know if, based on how the market is going now, I don't think anything gonna happen this year. So, but we
No,
cross
there's talk
So-
that the Fed might drop rates in September.
September.
this year?
Now, yeah, right
If,
now.
if we,
People are waiting to refinance.
if we use the.
We're waiting to refinance as well.
May I
I was
suggest?
gonna do
Yeah.
a home line. and
What I
put
would
it on hold.
suggest
You gotta wait.
is, how quickly would we know if, when the funds run out? Is it usually within October, we know that?
I didn't even read it.
Once we allocate,
For the housing initiatives, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
When we do our lottery, once we do the lottery, we know how many people have applied. We know how much funds we already have. So depending on the number of applicants, if we have enough to do 24 homes and only 24 apply, all 24 get done. However, we know that we normally have 40, 50 people apply. And so the lottery determines how much. So as soon as we do the lottery, we know exactly how much money we
And so,
will
and the
have.
lottery is usually done from October. When
the
is
lottery is in November,
November?
after
Yes.
Thanksgiving,
The
yes.
city, the
Done
home
in
rehab
Yes.
is in October.
Yeah.
We open our application process, period from November to Thanksgiving, right before, the Friday before Thanksgiving, and then we do the lottery right after.
Is there an opportunity to, well, and obviously the need is always greater than what we can.
Always, yes.
There was one year where I think it was when BNMA was chair, where we said, hey, let's just do all of them. And I think there was like additional funding where we said, let's go ahead and fund
do
all
some
of them.
more.
Yeah,
Yes, we
do some
did
more.
61 applicants.
Yeah, and that's where they were
That
behind.
was good.
And,
Yeah.
and I think we probably need something like that. You know, walking the,
That's,
knocking,
yeah.
Let me ask-
knocking on doors and District 4, and I will tell you that the struggle is real. And I've seen some of those houses, they really, really need some help. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So what I was trying to.
Mr. Chairman, go ahead. Oh,
No, they told me it's a dumb question.
What I was, no, what I was gonna try to suggest, but is that we deal with the budget we have. When we run out, you come to us, and then we try, we kind of figure it out so that, and then do another set. Is that similar to what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
So
saying.
that
kind of-
would
and that gives
be
us an-
probably in your December meeting. So given the timeline
Okay,
of when we do our
correct.
lottery, we could probably
So
do our
can you
December
do
meeting
that?
and
Yeah.
say,
Would
hey,
we
based
know?
on the lottery, this is the need
This
that's
is the need
outstanding and how we, yeah.
See, my
And
question,
then in the spring, have another, because once December comes, it's holiday.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, for you to do the
Then-
amendment and it would open up
and
in the new year.
Correct.
Well, I'll just throw my question out there. It may be stupid. Can we borrow from the Seventh Avenue thing and then we put it back?
Unfortunately, we are not able to.
You're not able?
No.
Agreement.
No.
We
Those-
can borrow
no.
from the loan.
Yeah.
No, I know, but-
Yeah,
no.
but not the Seventh Avenue.
Can you use
But
some of the
nothing.
Seventh Ave money to do rehab?
On Seventh
Northwest
Avenue.
Seventh.
Seventh Avenue.
So that's what I'm
Seventh
saying.
Avenue.
Then
We
wait-
can
wait
do a
minute.
lot on Seventh Avenue.
Can I say this?
Yes.
Can you take, can you reduce the number of homes in that area? Because probably majority of it probably come from there. For that to cover, and then that'll free up the money from this side?
Well, remember, the money for Seventh Ave is only spent on Seventh Ave. It's not spent
Yeah.
on District 4. It's spent on
On
Seventh
I thought
Ave.
we went in, I thought we,
No.
No, it
No,
was, it was a.
it's just-
only
it was a
7th
full-
Avenue.
straight
just for very
Yeah.
specific.
because I'm like, there's no way, even if you.
Seeing
that
how
we
much
could
money
spend
we
it.
have left
Yeah,
over.
You will have like.
And
a
once we open the
40 million.
residential process,
Maybe we need to go
you
back
know,
and amend that.
CRA,
That's what we
it's
need to do,
CRA wide, we don't have
But
any
I
districts
begged
within
them,
the
I said,
CRA.
Please put it District 4, and that would
To
have
the-
allowed.
The west
that
side.
would-
So
I
let's
thought
go
that's-
on and maybe we can,
But-
Yeah.
but we, at the end of the day, it sounds like we have avenue where
Yes.
we
Yeah,
can
I
always
mean-
come back
Exactly.
and say, hey, here's
Absolutely.
the
It'd be
need.
good.
We are all in agreement that housing is important for us, so then we would.
I have a quick question. For last year, how many applicants did we have?
For last year, we had over,
What, the complete applicants?
Yes,
I think we had over 28.
42.
42.
42 people applied, yes. And
That's
we,
not bad.
42.
And 80% of them were from the west side.
So let me ask you, from 7, exactly.
They were.
I don't have the
They
exact
were.
number.
But just as a quick
I have the
reminder,
list.
as a quick reminder,
No,
the
'cause I
the
did-
CRA is
But-
one district, the city has 4 districts, but the CRA is one district.
Yeah, we.
Just as
we-
a quick
we-
I just
reminder.
said it was
Yeah.
the west side. I didn't say a name.
Yeah,
I
well,
just
the
said
people, that's where they probably
I
need
am,
it the most.
I am going,
Central
I am going to say it again,
And it's
board
14
member,
in District 1.
board member Timothy, I'm going to say it again. Walking on the street in District 4, I think we really, really need some help. And again, remember that the CRA by definition is to fix slum and blight. So we need to always be mindful of that. And we really, really do have that, and
No, but we
and
have the
some
money for
District Four.
District 4. I think we need to change the language, which I thought Commissioner Bass and folks were okay with it. That would freeze up what he's talking about, because there's a big
Maybe if we
need.
now can show that there's been a slow, you know,
Yeah.
need.
It would-
Because-
I don't think
But
it's wise
It
that we
is
go
no.
and mess with
No, we
our,
should not. We should not take that
our
out.
agreement.
We
I
should not
think we
take that
have a
out.
favorable interlocal agreement
Absolutely.
that
No.
serves.
No, I
But you
agree
have
with it, but what I'm saying is,
$3.8 million.
you're gonna come up with $40 million and we won't be able to spend it because we don't even have a master.
So it depends, no, but we are creating, remember, we are in the process. I really want to remind everybody, we're in the process of creating that plan. We took this year to be able to do that. We will be delivering that to you in the new fiscal year, but we're gonna have a plan, we're gonna have design guidelines, and to the extent that the board is still wanting to, and I think you all do, want to acquire land, we know
Yeah, we do.
the cost of land nowadays, and we're gonna have to keep rolling some money until we have a decent pot to be able to make a competitive offer. If we spend
For
all-
Northwest Seventh,
For
okay.
Northwest Seventh, we won't ever be able to, and so
No,
there's a
that's true.
long-term and a short-term strategy, and we always have to keep both of them in mind while we're allocating the funding.
But if I may add to this to Northwest 7th Avenue, if you look at what needs to be done on Northwest 7th Avenue, for it to be like a destination, as we talked about it, that $3.8 million is just like a Band-Aid.
And which is why
You
we're,
understand? So
yes, we
This is
have the
not like-
strategies
it's
that
not
are
like
gonna
a-
be in place.
Yeah.
You know, I understand.
Yeah, but we getting that money and it's increasing every year,
Yes,
20
and,
years.
well,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
and-
will get a part of it that we will be able to execute the plan that we will show you, hopefully you will adopt, but even to, just thinking about land acquisition by itself, $3.8 million can't buy anything on Northwest 7th Avenue right now.
nothing.
So we have to build up a pot.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
The only
Are
thing
we
that I
done?
don't see in this budget, if I may, Mayor, is, in what you guys are proposing is, maybe having, a new set of guidelines for like restaurant or new business attractions, like to have something that really says, hey, let me move my restaurant here to North Miami or to Northwest 7th Ave.
We're working on them.
Okay.
And that's why we want to increase commercial incentives from 900,000 to 1.5 million.
I'm sorry, from where?
The commercial incentive
Commercial
program,
incentive.
the program you're referring to would fall under the commercial incentive program, and this is why we want to increase it from 900,000 to 1.5 million.
Yeah, because, nowadays.
Wait a minute, so 900,000 is the incentive for commercial
Yes.
throughout the city? I'm just trying to be, can we, is there a percentage, is that the entire city, or is there a percentage per district?
That's CRA wide with
CRA.
excluding
I was trying to
Northwest
help
7th.
out. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we good?
Yeah,
Well, we're not good. I know time is of the essence, so I think we should just jump to where you tell us and direct us on how to allocate the loan funding, because we must have that direction today, please.
25 is nothing. So where are you
No.
looking at the proposed new offering? Is that what you're telling us?
Go ahead, what's the?
Mr.
Last
Dempsey,
slide.
let's go.
So,
Yeah, let's go to this slide. Going up, up. Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
As of right now, for the $47,792,294, we have $17 million for Rux Park, $5 million for the
Scott Galvin Center.
Scott Galvin Center, and then we have $25,792,204 available that we need to allocate this tonight.
Okay.
And what is staff proposing?
So staff, among all the different ideas, of course, there is money for mixed-use development, land acquisition, multifamily rehab. And those are the areas that we're hoping that you could allocate amongst. Again, you don't need to name a property today, like the development you want to fund, but just
Just the
saying
amount
an
of funds.
allocation for that, yes.
so
Sorry, go ahead.
If-
Vice Chair.
Yes, so obviously, I think we all agree here that housing is a priority. So when it comes to mixed development and multifamily home, I would suggest that we put,
Where are
you know,
we looking at?
70%.
No,
There's
you
no page.
you know.
Oh, there's no,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I'm confused. I got you.
Here, but this is.
We
We just,
available funds.
she's just
The
saying,
25 million.
25.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is
Right,
there
so,
affordable housing?
right,
Go
so,
ahead.
yeah, affordable housing, or.
Mixed-
So that's the mixed-use
mixed-use,
development and
mixed-use,
multifamily rehab.
multifamily. I would say 70% of the funding should go to that, and then
Okay.
and then
Yeah, it needs to be at
30%
least
go
10.
to land and acquisition.
Okay,
So should we do 10 million, 10 million, and 5 million for land acquisition? Is what you're saying?
Well, that math.
Also,
yeah,
if I,
that's the math
if
I'm
I
doing.
may, also, in District 4, we have two major projects that we don't talk about them. I have Redwood and Integra. They've been like,
Right, so they would
they've
be-
been,
they would be
right, and
they've
so they
been-
could
they've been-
be
is it-
amongst the multi-use. Tonight, I really want to focus on the allocation, and then at a future date, we can say who gets that allocation, but just for budgetary purposes tonight, without getting into all of
The
that,
details.
I want to be able, I'm hoping the board will provide us that, and then at a future
Okay.
meeting, we can get the
Yeah.
We
name.
just got
On-
it,
I think
10,
10, 10,
10,
10,
5.
10, 10, 5. Are you good?
10.
So 5 is, so let's go over that.
10 million for
Land
mixed-use
acquisition.
development, 10 million for multifamily
Oh,
rehab,
you-
and 5
you
million
actually
for
did
land
it, right.
acquisition.
Land acquisition.
May we propose 10, the switching land acquisition and multifamily rehab?
Right.
So, because the multifamily
I
rehab,
didn't hear you.
may staff propose doing the allocation of 5 million towards multifamily rehab and then the 10 towards the land acquisition?
That's a lot for land acquisition, yeah.
Real estate prices are not.
We can
low.
also continue with the multifamily throughout once we are in a better place, which we can show you in a few slides. We will be in a better place 2 years from now, 3 years from now within our budget.
Well, and
We
even
could
during the year, if you
include
don't
that.
find some favorable land
Yeah.
acquisition sites, you can redirect.
Yeah,
it in the
yeah, we
budget
can-
to
yeah.
work
Could do that,
over.
but 10 million off the bat for multifamily may be high, is what staff is
Right.
But
trying
on-
to indicate.
So you want to do
Well,
8
'cause-
and put 2,
Land ac-
5?
You know how I feel about multifamily.
Yeah, it's just-
With,
Because only multifamily is like, for me, granted, I know this is something that, when we're trying to address affordable housing, this is probably the quicker way to address it by going in and rehabbing what's already there. And that's the area where the most slum and blight is, if we can just be honest. So my thing is, the more we can, work with those slumlords, we can create quicker affordable housing by fixing up those areas that are already blighted.
So here's what I would propose, and so just leave it as is. If there is a land acquisition that
Then
we
we can
need
come back at a
to, you
time.
just come back to us.
Agreed.
So, so we
Agreed.
can just keep
Okay.
it as is.
I think the
10,
10,
5.
10, 10, 5,
Yeah.
just makes sense.
10, 10, 5. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Okay, we do want to, go ahead, where you want to be?
Yeah, keep going down. Okay, the 5-year revenue. Go back up. Okay, for the 5-year revenue forecast, this is what the future is going to look like for us. There is an increase from every year. We will be going from total revenues 22 million to next year we're looking at 27 million, and the following year 28 million, 31 million. We will be in the green starting next year because we are done with the Gardens residence payment.
Griffin Estates.
The Griffin Estate payment, which we did over 2 fiscal years. These are projects that we're closing, coming off our books. The only 2 projects we have coming out of our operating budgets, the next 2 fiscal years are going to be Allure and Nomi Residences. Which with Nomi Residences, we have a payment schedule of 2 million. We already did 1 payment this year, and then we have 3 more for 2 million each.
So, Mr. Chair, if you would allow me, while we're talking about this, I just want to highlight, and for us to be mindful when we're dealing with developers and anyone coming for us, like in the beginning, you've mentioned that we have about 408 units, and only 44 of them were affordable. That's 10%.
Yes.
I find that to be a low mark for CRA. I think we should be more closer to 20%, and making sure that we are providing affordable housing, so that I think that's extreme. I think a lot of developers get the point now, but it's extremely important.
And staff wholeheartedly
yes,
agrees.
that we meet that mark, because
And
we
an
did meet
appropriate
that mark.
AMI.
Staff completely agrees.
With the residences at Nomi, instead of 10%, we're getting 22%.
Excellent.
And
And Rock
that's
Park,
The
it's a-
average, though.
Rock Spark,
Yeah.
yes. And it's not only 80% AMI, we're doing 60 to 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, which
And
we
I
do
think
get a
have some
breakdown.
ownership as well that we are
Yes,
providing.
yes.
So I'm very excited about
Yes. And
For
these
which
are
one
the
was
things
that?
that we have been
that. Rock
working on.
Spark in District 3.
Well, I'm just saying the first one was Nomi residency. That was me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
CRA wide, we're doing
I'm
really,
just
really
saying,
well.
I really worked with David on that one. He had to do more.
Okay, last slide.
Okay, and so just as a taste of what you can see coming before you for approval in fiscal year '25, some new offerings are, of course, embarking in land acquisition, launching our multifamily rehab program. We would also like to pilot a single-family home builder program, pilot a tenant-owner commercial program, implement a construction workers training program, and begin improvements on the West Dixie corridor. Of course, we want to continue our regular programs and projects, which are the residential rehabilitation program, commercial grants and infrastructure programs, Pioneer Boulevard's renovation, Liberty Gardens project, and we will continue funding the ERP upgrade to Tyler Munis and the maintenance of the NOMI trolleys. Along 7th Avenue, we would like to start doing the streetscape and facade improvement, doing some land acquisition, hopefully, and introducing a small business workshop. Thank you.
All righty. Move to adjourn?
Second.
Any reports?
No reports.
None?
Oh, well, just
Okay.
one thing, everybody did receive a packet from staff with your submissions from the property disposal guidelines. We did put that out earlier this year. We did receive the submissions, and now they are with the board for your rankings and review.
How many did you guys receive?
We received 9, 7 of which met the guidelines, which you have received.
In your
Yeah,
office?
it's under
I
there.
didn't know we were ranking. I was under the impression it's the executive director. Was it Rhea?
We had to do it. I thought we were gonna do a lottery and just get out of our hands, but it's gonna get dicey.
Move to adjourn.
Hold on, no, we gotta do public, open up for public comment. Mike? Anything?
Yeah, always put him on the spot.
I know, he's always in the back. Oh, wow, is that, what's his name in the back? No, Kiki, like with the museum. Gio, anything? No, I know, he's
So,
doing good.
Now that we don't have the party anymore.
Yeah, the way we do.
Glasses, I just came from a trip and I had to wear them.
Okay, you okay?
Yeah, thank you, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm here, I'm actually here for Hispanic Heritage and also the CRA. And I
Your
just
name for
want-
the record and
Oh,
address?
sure, yes, of course. Hello, everyone, my name is Gio Dardo, 12500 Northeast 4th Avenue, amongst a few other places, but that's a Copper Bridge Foundation building in District 3, and I just want to thank you, I just received my last reimbursement based on our project that we finished. It took 2 years, but it's a beauty, and now we're looking at hopefully funding for programming. But the site is beautiful, and we're about to finish our garden art installation, which should be ready in about a month to 5 weeks, which will host 7 international artist structures within the garden, and it's open to the public. We're making sure that it's accessible to everyone. We're inclusive, not exclusive. So thank you very, very
We
much.
like that. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Gio.
very much, and God bless you. And public hearing is closed, and a motion to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion made by Chairman Desilme to adjourn, seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Adjournment at 6:23 PM.